The next exercise that I'm going to show you is the Swiss ball leg raise. Very similar to the Prone Cobra. And so this is going to be a short video because a lot of the same things are going to carry over. On the Prone Cobra, you had 70% of your weight on the ball and 30 on your feet. Now we're going to go 30 on your hands and 70 on the ball. And so you're here. From this position, you're going to come down and touch your toes lightly to the ground. As soon as you feel the ground, you're going to come up, up, up. As high as you can with those heels, up as high as you can. Hold for 1 to 3 seconds. And then control it back down. And honestly, once your feet get about parallel or your legs get parallel to the ground, that's about all the range of motion you need. You don't really need to touch your feet to the ground, your toes, but that's up to you. Up, up, up. Hold for 1 to 3 seconds all the way at the top, and then control it back down. Once you get more advanced with this exercise, you can do a longer static hold, which is up to 10 seconds, and even longer as you get stronger and stronger. And of course, as you do that, you're going to trade volume for a duration or for time under tension. So that is to say that if you're doing a 10-second static hold, you probably do a few less reps, okay? So this is the Swiss ball leg raise. And just one final thing to leave you with as we perform this exercise is that your hips, well, let's say your glutes and your hamstrings, they're gonna have to fire in this exercise just to stabilize the legs and the hips, okay? But when you get to the top, I don't want you to focus on glutes and hamstrings. I want you to focus on the extensors of the lumbar spine, the muscles that create the curve in the lumbar spine. I want you to focus on creating more of a curve in the lumbar spine. Another way of saying it would be focus on anterior tilt of the pelvis. So from the standing position, an anterior tilt in the pelvis would be down in the front, up in the back. Okay, so we're trying to tilt the pelvis, and you'll notice as the pelvis tilts, the curvature of the lumbar spine increases, and those are the muscles that we're really trying to focus on here. So between the Prone Cobra, which focuses a little bit more on the thoracic, and the leg raise, which focuses a little bit more on the lumbar, now we are really working that extensor chain, and this capability, not just the strength of the muscles themselves, but also the capability neurologically to connect to these muscles deeply and instantly with a high level of proprioception and body awareness. That ability is going to be extremely important as we progress. Okay, so practice this. The Swiss ball leg raise. One more thing I will say is, as I said, we're trying to get that curvature in the lumbar spine. We're trying to tilt the pelvis and anterior tilt. So one thing I want to add, if you have lumbar lordosis, meaning too much curvature in your lumbar spine, and you know this already, you have or you have an anterior pelvic tilt, which is usually coupled with that lumbar lordosis, do not do this exercise, okay? So this exercise will just make that postural deviation worse. However, that's relatively uncommon. Far more common is the opposite, which is a slight posterior pelvic tilt that's caused the lumbar spine to flatten out. And the muscles that we're focusing on in the leg raise actually have gone to sleep. In that case, this is a fantastic exercise for somebody to perform, not just for the carryover into kettlebells, but also for posture, because it's going to help to get those muscles that are long and weak in the lumbar spine to fire and strengthen, and also to help to correct a posterior pelvic tilt. Depending upon the root cause of the posterior pelvic tilt, there may be some other things that need to be addressed in order to correct it. However, that leg raise can be a part of a holistic program to correct a posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so this is a wonderful exercise. Pair this with the Prone Cobra. Do this in your workouts for the rest of your life. especially on your days where you're not lifting heavy and you just want to move your body. Perform it now before you get into kettlebell training to create those connections, to strengthen these muscles so that when we progress, you are confident and assured that we're progressing appropriately with the information that we need to know that we are ready to progress to the next level. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.